Welcome to IAS Chemistry Topic 1. In the first segment, we will be looking at Topic 1A and B, Equations and Reaction Types. So the specific learning outcomes from this portion includes knowing the terms such as atom, element, ion, molecule, and compound, writing balanced full ionic equation with state symbols, looking at the observations of um, simple test tube experiments such as displacement reaction, typical reactions of acids, and precipitation reactions. All these are prior topics that you have already done for your O levels, so it will be a good recap of your prior knowledge. So here we have elements such as copper. Copper, here we can see in the diagram how all the atoms are the same. So an element is a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substances, and all the atoms will be the same unless it has isotopes. In that case, the atoms will not be exactly identical, as they will have the same proton number, but they will have different number of neutrons. Then we have atoms. These are the smallest particles of a chemical element that has properties of that element. Then we have molecules. Molecules can contain up to two or more atoms bonded together. There are diatomic molecules if there are two atoms bonded together. We have an example of bromine here. Compounds, as we know, will contain more than one type of element. So here we can see in the compound there is hydrogen and bromine. It forms hydrogen bromide, and there can be more than two, there can be three or four elements chemically combined together to form a compound. Ions will have a charge. Positive ions are called cations and negative ions are called anions, and we can see an example here of carbonate ion. So these are a few terms that you need to know. We already talked about diatomic, that make up of two atoms. If it's monoatomic, it only has one atom. And if it's polyatomic, as the name suggests, poly means many, so it has many atoms. So as I was saying that in A-level chemistry, you will be expected to write the chemical and ionic formula with the state symbols and a balanced chemical equation. If you need more practice, you can practice the questions from the book. You can see here the reactions of acids. The common acids that you will need to know are hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and phosphoric acid, and their reactions with metal oxides, insoluble metal hydroxides, alkalis, metal carbonates, and hydrogen carbonates. All their reactions are outlined, and we know that metals react with acid to form salt and hydrogen. For metal oxides, metal hydroxide, and alkalis, after addition of these to acid, we always get salt and water. For metal carbonates and for hydrogen carbonates, we will get salt, water, and carbon dioxide as an additional product. Then we have displacement reactions. We already know what are displacement reactions from O levels, that these reactions can happen for metals and also for halogens. They will displace a more reactive metal from its solution. And we have an example shown here. Then we have the halogens. Halogens can also be displaced. A more reactive halogen will displace a less reactive halogen from its solution. And next, we have precipitation reactions. Precipitation reactions are those in which a precipitate is formed from two solutions, or here we can use these precipitation reactions to figure out what ions are present or the presence of any particular gas. For example, you're familiar with the carbon dioxide gas identification, where we bubble the carbon dioxide gas through lime water, which is basically calcium hydroxide, and it forms a milky um, solution. So milky precipitate, so a white precipitate of calcium carbonate is observed. And also in the case of identification of halide ions, we add silver nitrate, which forms a precipitate of um, white, cream to yellow, depending on the halide that is present. So precipitation reactions can be used to identify anions.